Hey y'all, it's Aaron again in the Tres Cuervos workshop in Lamy, New Mexico. Today, I want to talk about one of my products. It is Matchboxes. One of the things that I have in my product lineup on my wholesale site and that I sell in the shop are these metal matchboxes. I don't have one right here, but you'll see one later. I put 25 matches in this metal matchbox, and I have come up with 4 or maybe 5 designs, and I am engraving into the lid of the matchbox the design with my Xtool P2S laser. Xtool has been very important to my business. I do a lot of the work that I do is enabled and made more efficient and enhanced using a number of different Xtool lasers. Today I'll be using the Xtool P2S, which is a CO2 laser on a gimbal, and you'll see that a little bit later. And then for some other purposes, I use this Xtool F1 Ultra, which is a galvo laser. It's a fiber laser, better for metal etching. It can do a lot of the things that most lasers do, but it's really very good for etching metal. And this is an F1, which is a very portable diode and infrared laser, and those 2 different lasers are optimal for different materials. Anyway, I got a few orders, but this is one of them on Fair from a brand new customer, and they are ordering 48 matchboxes. And so I want to show you what it takes to go through and make 48 matchboxes. So this order came through Fair, an online wholesale platform. I've spoken about it before. Very important to my business. I'm very grateful that it exists and that they accepted me as a vendor. And it is very good for acquiring new customers, servicing current customers, invoicing. There's a shipping function. They collect invoices, so it takes, for everything that comes through Fair, I don't have to call people. I've been very fortunate that I've had very conscientious customers over the years, and I've only had a few that haven't paid my invoices, but knowing that Fair handles it is a big deal. It's one of the less fun parts of running a business, and they are taking care of that completely. All right, let's grab a matchbox. So this is the matchbox. Focus on it. It's a slider tin. I don't know, maybe 1 3/4 by 2.5 inches. And it is just plain, stainless on the inside. They slide together. I take these, which I can get for 30 cents or less, and I turn it into this. One thing about having a wholesale business and a retail business is I know what I hate about buying things to sell in my retail shop. And, well, I hate to wait. So I don't want to order stuff and have to wait 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months to get it and put it in the store. I also hate Keystone. I don't like buying something for $10 and the people I buy it from, the wholesaler, telling me I have to sell it for $20. If I'm going to sell something for $20, I would like to get more than Keystone. I don't ever tell anybody how much they should sell my stuff for, and I would suggest that you don't either. I would say, this is how much this costs you. This is what I know people have sold this product for. Make your own decision. I also don't like it when I buy something and then I see it on that maker's or the manufacturer's or the wholesaler's website for far less than I can afford to sell it for. So I am very cognizant of those things and others that I don't like as a retailer, and I try to incorporate that into how I treat my retail customers as a wholesaler. These cost $3.50. I probably got about 80 cents into it. It's a 3x margin. It's not an amazing margin. I have other items that have more favorable margins for me as a wholesaler, but I haven't sold these for less than $7.50, and you can sell them for up to $10 in some places. It gives people an opportunity to make a little more than Keystone, which I don't think works very well for retail. I also suggest, if you have a store, find something to make and get awesome margins on that, and offset some of the things that you have to sell for Keystone or double wholesale price, because it's hard to run a business at doubling wholesale. And if you can make up some of that margin by making something and being able to sell it for a lot more than it costs you to make it, it really helps to improve your margins overall. Another video for another time. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is get in Xtool Creative Suite. This is great. Xtool Creative Suite is a kind of all-in-one desktop, you know, local, not, it's web enabled, but it's not an internet service, or it's not a web-based application. It's on my desktop, so I can use it offline. I used to have a Glowforge. It was a fine laser. Everything that you do in Glowforge's Creative Suite, you have to be connected to the internet, and that's not always practical. I really like that about Xtool. I also like that this application works with every laser I've got, and it will work with the apparel printer. It is very homogeneous. The whole ecosystem kind of flows together, and this is kind of the nexus of that. One of the designs is a mountain. I am going to, this is the view from the camera in the laser in the other room, which you'll see in a minute. And I am going to zero in the laser so it knows what height this array of matchboxes is inside it. And I'm going to place what I want to engrave on those matchboxes in the appropriate place. And then I will hit print, and you will see it all happen. All right, let's get to the screen. All right, I am in the Creative Suite. This is my page, or my project, where I have laser engraved matchboxes, okay? These are some of my designs. The design that I am going to print today is these mountains. What you're seeing here is a tray that I cut out of foam and glued to a piece of MDF, and I cut out the size with the laser of these matchboxes. It's in an array. They're all the same with distance apart, and they're all kind of laid out so that they're easy to arrange. And look, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't read manuals. And I've learned this as I've gone. I'm probably not doing this the way that other nerds do, and that's okay with me. If you have a better idea, let me know. I would be grateful for more guidance. This is 12 matchboxes. This is a little bit tedious. Now, there is a method in Xtool that allows you to place images on items in the bed. I tried that with this, and it did not work very well. What I will do is I will take a close-up shot, and that means the camera goes directly above the spot that I choose inside there. So that is lined up directly over that top right matchbox. And I am going to place this in the over the top of the matchbox. And I will do that for each one of these. All right, I've got these all centered over the matchbox inside the laser, because what you see here is inside the laser. And I am going to set the power and speed. In Xtool, you can save your settings. So if I go to reference CO2 matchbox engrave, pops this. Now I am going to bump that up 1. So it's in a CO2 laser, power is 19%, speed is 500, lines per centimeter is 100. I will hit go to process. It will show me what's printing. Before I hit this, let me show you one more thing. Up here, right here, is the thickness of the item that I am engraving. You always have to make sure that the laser knows how far away the item is that you're engraving. You set that using these items, these quick measure and aimed measure, which I've already done. There's that. All right, so I'm going to process it. It's thinking. I hit start. And we'll go over to the laser now. I'm in the little kitchen area of the workshop. And this is the Xtool P2S CO2 laser. Highly recommend. And this is a P2, the previous model. Through a weird twist of fate, when this came out, I didn't have to sell this, so I'm very glad to have 2 of them. Sometimes I have bigger jobs. I can run both lasers at the same time. I can do different jobs on the 2 different lasers using the same creative suite that I was using in there for the Matchbox engraving images. Inside here is the array, and I'll show that to you in a second, and the matchboxes. Here you see the matchboxes inside the laser. There's a gimbal in here that the Xtool will come and the laser will go back and forth. I'm pushing the button and it will print for probably, I don't know, 16 minutes, 15 minutes. These are finished. This is what it looks like on the tray. But there is a lot of laser dust on these. The laser dust will need to be removed, and I use two things for that purpose. One is I use this ZEP Fast 505 degreaser. I'll just spray this on these, and then I will use a magic eraser. I will go through the process of cleaning these off. And you will see how much of that comes off and how bright and shiny these end up looking. It would be nice if I would stop doing that. Now, I am still experimenting with using this Dremel Versa tool, and there is a company that will make these little melamine pad and I've had varying degrees of success with this, but it's not working as well as I would like it to. I think this would be a lot more efficient if I didn't have to kind of do this by hand. But as you can see, the ones that I've used the magic eraser and the ZEP on are far shinier and represent what I would be comfortable presenting to a customer or selling in my shop. Now, this is 12, and it took me, I don't know, 10 minutes to prep it. I put it on the laser, ran it for 15 minutes, and did something else while it ran. So I don't really count the laser time except for the fact that it's wear and tear on my device. But 15 minutes on a laser that will serve me well for thousands of hours before I need to service or change the CO2 laser. And I'm putting a little elbow grease into it. Here they are. Now, I am going to put the matches into these, and they'll be one step closer to being ready to go. All right, I've got my Matchboxes here, and I buy these matches from bulkmatchesusa.com. They're maybe a few cents each, not very much. And you can buy thousands of them at a time. So what I will do is I will take the lid off of this and place it on my very sensitive $9 scale that goes out to hundredths of a gram, and I will hit the tare button so it zeroes out the weight of the bottom of this tin, and I'm going to count out 25 matches. Here's 5, 9, 12. $17. 20, 24. So I put in 26, because it's okay to have an extra, because I promised 25 on the tin. So that is 3.88 grams is 26 matches. So around 3.9 grams. I will close this. And that one is ready to put a little piece of tape on, or shrink tape. Shrink tube. Put that back on there. Go back to the tear. Put in 3.88 grams of matches. That's 4, but I'd rather err on the side of caution. I'd rather give them a few extra too many matches than not enough. All right, now I'm going to do the rest of these. Now that I put all of the matches in these boxes, I am putting some heat shrink tubes on them to make sure they don't open, and so people have a nice sort of finished, sealed up book of matches when they buy it. I also don't like the idea of them somehow coming open on the shelf at a shop or even in transit. So I'm just putting the last of these on there. You can buy these on Amazon. You can buy 1,000 of them for next to nothing, 15, 20 bucks or something. And I'm going to use this heat gun from Harbor Freight. And it's pretty easy to shrink them too much. And then they'll tear. A little trick is to heat the back first, because that's where all of the wrinkles will end up. You see how it's kind of puckers a little bit? And then on the top, that tightens it up, and then it doesn't pucker on the top, and it looks cleaner. Now, these are still loose enough that you can probably slide them out. So I am going to run the heat gun over the top of the front just to tighten it up the rest of the way. But this is where it's easy to screw up. So now we've got, and there are more than what I just laser engraved. I've got a number of other designs here. I've got this coyote one that says light the way, one that says burn your bridges, and then the mountain. Oops. So these are done and ready to ship. So that's it. That's Matchboxes. You might wonder, you know, do I really want to do all that for $3.50 and maybe about $2.60, $2.70 profit? And the answer is yes. This is very repeatable. You can do this on candle lids if they're black. You can customize the lids of your candles. You can do this for incense cones, incense sticks, really anything that goes in a small tin. And you can turn a box that costs you 30 cents into something after you put the materials in it that you can sell for a lot more than that. There's also a lot of opportunity for customization. I've done these for some stores and put their logo on it. It's very easy, and it's automated enough, and it is batch oriented enough that it might, you know, I might spend a minute and a half on each Matchbox all in. Placing the image in the Xtool Creative Suite, putting it in the array or in the tray to go on the laser, cleaning off the laser dust, putting the matches in, putting the sleeve on it, and heating it up. I might spend a minute and a half on each one, which means I could probably do about 40 to 50 of them in an hour. If I'm making $2.50 a piece on them, 120 bucks an hour. It is by far my lowest margin item, but I'm having fun with it. It's productive time. The order that I'm working on right now, you know, I'll make 175, 180 bucks, and I will have spent an hour and a half, 2 hours on it. I would have accomplished something. I would have finished something. I would have created a little bit of active income. I would have also supported the brand, because people that buy these will buy the incense cones. My margins on the incense cones are a lot higher. They'll buy my bracelets. My margins are higher. They'll buy my wallets. My margins are higher. It is a piece of a puzzle. In the retail shop, it's something I make. I've got about 80 cents into it. I sell them for $7.50. It's a 10x, 9x margin. Very good for retail. Really offsets some of the Keystone. So that's another product. I'm going to keep doing this. Maybe we'll do keychains next. Maybe we'll do I don't know, something else. So thanks for sticking with me. Look forward to sharing more of my journey and what I've learned, and would love to hear more about yours. So that's it. That's all. Thanks.